Good evening. My name is James Bahum. I'm a private consultant with the African Development Group, and I am working with the GCCI in the next few days. Precisely on the 5th and 6th of December 2019, the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, GCCI, will convene a two-day interactive dialogue forum on economic integration and trades between the two sister republics of Senegal and the Gambia. This event has been dubbed the Senegambia Economic Forum, and it will take place at the Kairaba Hotel for the 5th, and on the 6th, which is a dinner and an awards night, will be held at the Coco Ocean Resort on the Battle Hardin Highway. Today, I want to first of all inform those who are listening that this economic forum will bring together policymakers, private sector actors, international development partners, and the Senegalo-Gambian Permanent Secretariat and other stakeholders to dialogue not only on the local issues that affects our businesses here in the Gambia and Senegal, but we'll be looking as well at the continental level, both the regional and sub-regional levels, particularly ECOWAS, but also at the AU level on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and also at the sub-regional level on the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, but also on the road transport protocols that has been promulgated by the ECOWAS. So today, to help me break down these issues, these trending issues, I have Ajaratu Mariama Adu-Letsi, is a GCCI board member and a renowned entrepreneur involved in travel consultancy and fashion and design. She is also president of the Senegambia Women's Network Association and a well-known person in the business sector. I also have Mr. David Jeng, who is founder of Bliss Executive and member of the GCCI, as well as Mr. Babukar Saho, a business development and project, a member and an employee of the GCCI. Not a member. You're a staff of the GCCI. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Today, we'll start with the anticipated, very well anticipated forum that is going to take place on the 5th. We will deal with the 5th and then also with the 6th as we proceed to give an expose of what is expected, what is anticipated, what the implications are for this grand event that is taking place on the 5th and the 6th of December 2019. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Senegambia, a traditional partner and one of our most pivotal economic partners. We are bringing them to Gambia to discuss on some of the issues that I've talked about. And we are going to look at how to improve trade in the context not only of the relationship, the enduring relationship between Gambia and Senegal over the years, but also to look at it in the context of the African Continental Free Trade. What implications for our local businesses? What's the price? But also at the sub-regional level, at ECOWAS, and what initiatives have been taken to expand trade in goods, services, and peoples as we go forward into the century. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll take one at a time, and I'll go with the lady first. Mrs. Ajaratu Mariama Adu-Letsi, what are your expectations and what do you anticipate on this event that is scheduled for the 5th?
Good evening, viewers, and our host today, Mr. James Bahum, private consultant, Mr. Bawakar, member of GCCI staff, Mr. David Jeng, Chief Executive of Bliss Consulting Executives. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for yet another day, another sitting, another emission about this forthcoming economic forum on Senegambia trade on the 5th at the Carababich Hotel. We are looking forward to a big crowd, a big number of participants from the two countries, from Gambia and Senegal, and we are looking forward to discussing definitely integration, trade, partnership, networking, some of the issues affecting trade between the Gambia and Senegal, our constraints, and definitely the way forward as to the success of integration between the Gambia and Senegal. It has been, it is upcoming. It has been, the relationship between the Gambia and Senegal is long. It's centuries behind us. Our great grandparents, everybody knows the relationship between the Gambia and Senegal. I always say that it is only in Gambia and Senegal where we have the same language. In the whole of Africa, any border, if you go, there is a border between Lomé and Ghana, Cotonou and Lagos, but you would never hear them speak the same local language. It is only Gambia and Senegal that speak the same language. Even those other countries, they intermarried, but they don't speak the same language. They always have their own local languages. Maybe their official language could be French or English, but so, which is a very important a connotation in terms of relationship. It makes the relationship between Gambia and Senegal stronger. So these kinds of forum and these kinds of organizations or awareness forums are important for us. They are definitely important that we bring ourselves together and remind ourselves as to the way we should keep a close relationship, the way we should be together, the way we should talk to each other, the way we can trade, and of course eventually the way we can. I think it's the Senegal, the African intercontinental global trade that we are talking about. I think Senegal and Gambia should champion it because we are the main elements. We are the main we are the force that can champion the global trade, inshallah. So maybe we'll be looking forward to discussing all that at the forum.
Thank you very much for that. David, we share the same language, we share languages, we share a common culture and a common tradition, and our geography, our physical geography, lends itself easily to the concepts of free trade and free movement. What is your take on the key issues that you think will be discussed at the Senegambian Economic Forum?
Hi everyone, greetings to you all. Greetings to Auntie Adu, my brother Babukar, and Mr. Bahum. Well, this is key because if you look at the CFTA, really Gambia cannot utilize it at its fullest without a proper harmonization with Senegal. The reason why I said that is we're surrounded by Senegal in 3 sides. So we only have one side where we have the sea. So there's a high need for us to really diversify our economy as well in terms of land and sea. Looking at trade, how can we really trade using the sea, both the River Gambia and the Atlantic Ocean, to connect to other parts of Africa, and how can we use also land? Looking at also we're having the Senegambia Bridge, which is connecting the 2 sides of Senegal. And if you look at statistics also, our imports, we import 4% from Senegal and we export 11% from Senegal. So if you look at that, Senegal is not our major trade partner when it comes to import. Senegal is not our major trade partner when it comes to export. And we are looking at the CFTA coming into force as per the Secretariat, which is operational from July 2019. The Secretariat has already made an announcement that all countries that have ratified the agreement should be operational in July 2020. And this is months, it's about 8 months. So this forum is timely. The reason why I said it's timely is the CFTA, which will be operational in 8 months, Gambia and Senegal should be a champion to test this model. People will say, you know, there's a lot of debates coming up saying Nigeria and Benin. But if you look at Gambia and Senegal, we are more integrated than Nigeria and Benin. You know, and the other have said it, we speak the same language, you know, we eat the same food, you know, all of us have, you know, relatives in Senegal and also Senegalese too. Most of them have, you know, relatives in Gambia. And we have also seen, we have had that connection, that missing link, which is the bridge. So if we really come together, we have the potential to test this model, because this will help us to utilize Africa as one market. And this is the biggest trade agreement. If it is enforceable, if we are able to do it, we can really show the world what Senegambia really is. And this is what our forefathers, our great-great-grandparents has wished for. So we now have the opportunity to start bridging the two countries.
You mentioned the very paltry percentage of trade between the two countries. As I recall, the Senegalo-Gambian Secretariat was set up established in 1967, 2 years after we got independence. How is it that we still not managed anything above 11% and 4% respectively?
Well, if you look at, there's so many challenges. One, we will say the cross-border, because going from one border to another, there are a lot of, you know, challenges. Most of, you know, you talk of the ECOWAS, you know, liberalization agreements. Most of these things are not, you know, implemented and, you know, utilized at its fullest. So these are things that, you know, are affecting, you know, we have a lot of barriers to trade that are affecting. Some also entrepreneurs don't actually know some of these agreements that are enforceable. So you will see most of these things are affecting, you know, issues of also, you know, quality is also another issue, and delivering to standards. So you see also this is where the international market taps into some of these things. And I think that what we really need to do is prepare ourselves as Senegambians to be able to, because we know that if we don't go to the world is coming to us. If we don't go to the continent is coming to us. And this is what this agreement is about. Africa coming to us, Africa being one. So although it's the biggest agreement, you know, we're talking of a GDP of 2.5 trillion, you know, US dollars. But if we don't really utilize it, this is a GDP that the entire continent is going to fight for. So what can we do as a continent, as a country, both Senegal and Gambia, to ensure that we take our rightful share out of this? And this can only happen if we really integrate properly and make sure that we try to address the issues of quality, the issues of, you know, skills, the issue of standardization, the issues of, you know, barriers to trade, the issue of, you know, harmonization of the laws towards our laws. So these things need to be addressed to ensure that, you know, we are prepared before July 2020.
Mr. Saho, you work for the GCCI.
Yes.
What are your expectations? What is it that really spurred you to put this forum together? And why Senegal? Why not Guinea-Bissau?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bahum, and I would wish to extend an arm of greetings to the listeners, to the viewers out there. It was very interesting to hear you say that the Senegambia Secretariat was established in 1967. The viewers might also be interested to know that the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry was established in 1967. And over the 5 decades, the Chamber has continuously tried to consolidate its mandate in terms of being the voice of the private sector. and private businesses in the Gambia trade with many countries across the globe, and one of them is Senegal. So if it is an issue that is important to the business community in the Gambia, the Chamber feels a sense of obligation to organize a platform, a forum, which all parties can come together to see how best or we can help boost, facilitate the trade that exists between these two countries. So it's as a result of this that the president of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Idi Job, thought it wise, together with the Secretariat, to organize such a platform to be able to achieve a mutual objective of creating jobs on both sides of the border, of increasing revenue collection in terms of taxes on both sides of the border, and to also further pursue the agenda of social cohesion between our two nations. When President Macky Sall visited the Gambia, I think 2 years ago, during the inauguration of the current president, President Barrow, President Sall mentioned something very important, which I would like to quote. He said the Senegal and Gambia have differences only due to circumstances of history. And I guess that he's pointing to our colonial past. And due to this is where the difference come in. But as earlier mentioned by both David and Auntie Ado, Senegal and Gambia, we eat the same. We think the same. Our social and cultural norms are the same. And in addition to that, we also have an mutually economic interest in one another. The Gambia is, by dispensation of geography, happens to find itself almost in the middle of Senegal, acting as a road dividing Senegal into two different sides. I mean, it's easier to go through the Gambia to reach other sides of Senegal rather than to just to follow the Senegalese territory. So this sovereign land called the Gambia, it's also very integral to the economic progress of Senegal. And as a result, this mutual economic interest will always be there. So what we intend to do with this forum is that we intend to see how best we can address some of the challenges that we face on both sides of the border. And at the level of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce, we engage with businesses on a daily basis. And what we do is that we try to gather the challenges that they face and then pursue policymakers to see how best we can seek redress to these. And one of the challenges that the business community always comes up with in terms of trading with Senegal is the issue of ease of cross-border trade. Many a time, our business people will lodge complaints that they find it very, very difficult in terms of trying to move goods and services across the border. And some of these barriers are usually as a result of these if you want to put it, maybe artificial barriers. These are barriers that we can easily get out of the way without even needing extra funds to do so. We just need to check certain things out of the bureaucracy, and we will still be able to maintain security and also make sure that we create jobs at both sides of the border. So these are generally the issues what we that the forum is going to deal with further. And you also mentioned the issue of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. Currently, as we stand today, the European Union trades with itself. Trade within the European Union stands at 69% of their total trade. Trade within Asia stands at 59%. Trade within North America stands at 31%. In Africa, when Africa has a very the big market that we have, almost 1 billion people, we still stand at 17%. I think that's very, very worrying. And I think that is why at the level of the African Union, it has been initiated for us to see how best we can pursue the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, which tends to lift 90% of all protections of goods and services that are usually protected within some economies. So what that means that when we start implementing the CFTA in the Gambia, 90% of the goods that are traded and consumed in or within the Gambia would be under a non-tariff system. And the remaining 10% we can protect even that 10% we can protect comes in 3 different categories. Currently, the Secretariat of the CFTA sits at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And us, the Chamber of Commerce, we are in close contact with the ministry because they always rely on the GCCI to mobilize the private sector and to disseminate such information through the Chamber to reach the private sector. So we think that the CFTA is very important. However, let's talk about the Gambia.
Yeah.
If the Gambia is to make the best out of the CFTA, we need to start the work, and we need to start the work now. Because for us to benefit from the CFTA, we don't just have to buy from other African countries. We also have to have something to offer to other African countries, so as to help balance our balance of payments. So in order to do that, we have to build on our production base. Now, let's ask our a question to ourselves today in Gambia. What do we produce that other African countries want? What do we produce that other African countries will buy? How can we connect ourselves to this continental value chain? And I think these are the things that we need to think about, talk about, and see how best we can move with them as a nation.
Thank you very much. Ajaratu, on the day we will have policymakers from both countries. We will also have the private sector in their numbers. We expect to have our development partners there. We're coming back to the policymakers. What do you expect the policymakers to do that they haven't done since 1967 to increase the volume of trade between Senegal and the Gambia? And what has not been achieved? Why has it not been achieved? And what would the new Senegambia bridge bring to Gambian entrepreneurs? What will it allow them to do to increase trade and the free movement?
Thank you very much. Just like Babukar was saying, I think it's about production. It's mainly about production. I think the policymakers should encourage come to into the area of how we can build factories. You know, how we can encourage made in the Gambia products, because you can see a lot of made in Senegal. Senegal have moved mostly from importing to exporting. I think Gambia is way behind when it comes to export. You know,
industrialization. So then
exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If we want to get, you can see that in the past years, more than 20 years now. You cannot see factories in Gambia, you know, industries, you know. The industrial zone is basically dead, you know. So if we want to compete in between Gambia and Senegal and trade, I think we should have something to offer them. We haven't got much to offer them, apart from imported goods. And I think basically what the security and the customs advocates is that they allow free movement of goods that are manufactured in their country, like goods that are manufactured in Gambia and goods that are manufactured in Senegal. They can trade freely because they are goods that would boost the economies of both countries. So definitely I think that's what we should focus on that sector.
And that would be your message to policymakers.
Yes.
Who will be there on
yeah.
the day.
So how best we can focus on industries and boosting and putting some more financing into SMEs, so that they become big and produce, especially in the agricultural sector. You know, the agricultural sector is a booming industry, whereby they can get access to funds, whereby they can, whenever the women especially can, when they harvest. For example, the examples I can give is in Gambia, when we harvest mangoes, you get to a point where you see mangoes being thrown away. When we harvest tomatoes, some of the vegetables, you know, and when it's in season, we can sell, and we can also produce, make into, you know, we can partner in Senegal, whereby when we don't order juice anymore, and it's going to be healthy and local juice, whereby we don't have to import. For example, we don't need to, both Gambia and Senegal doesn't need to import canned drinks, canned juice. You know, we can can our own drinks. We can package our own juice, our own wonjo juice, our own baobab juice, our own all the local juices. I think we are going towards that, because you can see all this training that we are doing for capacity, building the capacities of women in cereal, in local cereal making and local juice making. But I think we still need to do more in that area. And I think the policymakers should also invest in capacity building, in training the women, or the not. I don't want to be too gender sensitive, but
I was going to come to that issue,
yes,
about what women of course, we know that at the local level, women in their numbers undertake different forms of trade and are involved very much so as well in cross-border trade. If you were to speak to a policymaker right now, what specifically is it that women would demand of the government or policymakers?
What I would demand? What I would demand from a policymaker is 2 to 3 aspects of being access to finance, because if you don't have access to finance to produce at a bigger scale, there's no way you can do it. We need access to land, where the structure to build the industries. We need the finance to produce the local items. The reason I'm talking about agriculture, because it's a main area where we can boost. You know, we have the fertile land, you know, and women are at least about 40% of women in this country are in agriculture. So I think we can start by sector, you know. That's why I'm giving them as an example. The fashion industry. We don't need to order outfits, you know. I can talk to policymakers to tell them that let's concentrate on the cotton growers in the Basse and around the Basse area. Let's empower them so that the cotton can be made into materials. We can produce the materials, the textile, local textile, which we can have a brand, and we can sell to our Senegalese partners. They can also sell to us, as we normally do now, but it's at a small scale.
Yeah.
You know?
We need to bulk it up.
Exactly.
In other words,
so that we can boost the export,
the volume of
the volume,
export.
the volume, the export rates. You know, so we can boost it so that both countries can benefit. You know,
and then, do you think the bridge, the Senegambia bridge, the opening of the Senegambia bridge, what are the implications for small businesses, for instance, in terms of cross-border trade?
The implications is that it eases up the transportation of goods and people, because we used to have problems traveling from Gambia to Senegal. It would have taken you the hours to go to Senegal. Now it's much easier, because like for example, if somebody orders a truck full of mangoes, or a truck full of tomatoes, you in the past you stay you wait at the ferry for days. Now you can just cross over at the bridge in hours, perishable goods.
Indeed.
You know, in hours. So at least that's a plus for both countries. Also even the integration. Because if you think about going to visit culturally, integrating or getting a relative to come to Gambia or to go to Senegal and visit you, whenever you think about the ferry, it you know, you just tend to cancel the trip. But now all that is improved, you know, with the opening of the bridge. And I think that is not enough. I think we should definitely sit in the round table as we want to do in this forum, and see that our leaders, our policy makers do more in terms of what we can trade, how we can trade, how we can get money out of Senegal, as how Senegal can get money out of us, because that's the way we can empower ourselves.
Indeed.
That's the way we can benefit from the integration, the trade relations. Also the sensitizing the stakeholders, the women especially, as to the protocols that are involved in and the agreements between the Gambia and Senegal. Like we said earlier, most of the participants, or most of the participants in this industry, the traders themselves, the business people that are involved in trade, do not understand what their rights in terms of the agreements that are signed, the protocols between Gambia and Senegal, or even the ECOWAS protocols that govern, or where the Gambia and Senegal are involved. So definitely, I think it's time that we talk to people about it. You know, we talk to people about it at the forum, outline the agreements and protocols clearly, so that the players
raise
would
greater awareness.
You know. I think it should be an awareness and advocacy forum, whereby people would learn more as to what they need to know, you know, in terms of integration, the free movement of goods, what is expected at the borders, even at security level.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
what they need to, because now it's been like the example I can give also is the immigration post in Karang, the line.
Indeed. It's important you said that, because I traveled to Dakar last December.
Exactly.
And we were queuing there for nearly 2 hours.
2 hours.
And I thought that was, this was an open border for as long as I can remember.
Exactly.
And there is free movement of people.
Of goods and people.
But then at the same time, we had to spend 2 hours waiting for our documents to be seen.
Exactly.
And I think that is restrictive. And there were lots of trucks parked around the Karang post.
Even that area is too small.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't even have parking space. You know,
True.
I think it should have been planned.
Indeed.
You know,
better planning.
whereby better planned, so that they have a bigger office.
Yeah.
Whereby you don't need the queue.
Yeah.
Even when you go
more
to
windows.
Exactly.
So that
Exactly.
can be
And
saved
like I'm saying, why can't we learn from the good practices of the EU? Because if you have an EU, a Schengen visa,
Yes.
and you enter France, you don't need to be controlled
Indeed.
by any of the Schengen countries until you get out of the Schengen.
And I think this is one of the things that they are looking to do
Exactly.
under the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Exactly, yes.
And Rwanda and Ghana, for instance, have also initiated arrival visas. That you don't need a visa to go to Rwanda as an African. You carry an African passport, you can go to Rwanda and they'll give you entry clearance at the airport. So yes,
if you have an ECOWAS passport, an ECOWAS passport, an ECOWAS ID,
yes, you should be able to travel freely.
Exactly.
Indeed. David, I'll come back to you. Gambia has a youth bulge. 60% of our population are in the youth cohort. What are the benefits that could accrue to this very important population group? And what do you think this forum can enlighten them about, can bring to their benefit?
Okay. Thank you. I mean, it's a very important point, not only for Gambia but also for Africa in general, because we have the highest youthful population. And another thing that you look at is also unemployment is
Indeed.
also high.
Indeed.
It's about 38%. And the CFTA also comes with also new opportunities in terms of jobs, in terms of new jobs. There will be more than 2 million new jobs that will be created from the agreement. And most of these basically will come to the young people. So we have high expectations of unemployment reduction in terms of the youthful population. But if you look at also how we can really benefit is we talk of trade in goods, but also trade in services. How can we as young people build on our skills and offer services, especially in areas like technology? So how
The
can we,
digital age,
digitalizing certain processes, certain procedures, coming with digital solutions to problems that are affecting the continent. And this is one area where new jobs can be created in a very short period of time. And also, this is one area too we can easily utilize the cross-border free trade by using technology, because as far as you are connected, you can benefit from the app. And if you look at primarily most apps that we have that we are using are not African applications. So we expect that the young people will take opportunity to ensure that we create technology platforms that can be used, and this will be one way we can tap into the big market that we have. Also with Senegal, there are so many technology platforms that are in Senegal that are not here. There are also some platforms that are here that are not in Senegal. So how can we really integrate these two platforms? And it can easily be done by technology, even though we speak French and English, but also it can be in Wolof and Mandinka and some of the local languages that we do. So this is one area too that I believe that the young people should really look into, and we should also ensure too there are skills that have been developed. So one of the things we can also export, if we cannot export our goods, we can export skills, we can export services. So we also need to develop skills in the young youthful population to ensure that as we are exporting our goods, we are also exporting skills to other African countries. It could be medical skills with doctors, with nurses, with carpenters, plumbers, in welders, in technology. So these are things we should really also look into. And another issue too that the forum will really address, which I believe entrepreneurs will be so much interested, is to see the two custom agencies, the Douane of Senegal, GRA, because if you talk of trade, these are key in the center of it.
Absolutely.
If you look at taxes, they handle taxes. If you look at border control, rule of origin, so these are key that are affecting the liberalization of trade. So I think this will be one takeaway that that the forum will really give to entrepreneurs themselves, because we want to know how we can trade better, how we can trade faster, how we can trade easily, and coming to the summit, coming to the program, and seeing discussions from custom officials will really enhance what we are doing as entrepreneurs.
Okay. Right. There are skeptics, of course, and some people say if we cannot manage free trade in the sub-regions, what chances do we have of doing it on the continental level?
Well, I mean, it's possible, The reason why, if you look at the agreement was launched in 2015, signed in 2018, it was operationalized in 2019, and it will be, implemented in 2020. Now, this is a short, space. Within 5 years, the biggest
in the context
market
of Africa, yes,
has been set up.
In such a
Shows
short
you
time.
that, we are optimistic about it. We believe that it will be possible. So what we really need to do is there should be a very strong political will, which has already been shown. Because if you look at now, we have about 54 countries. It's only Eritrea that is left, which I'm hopeful they will come on board very soon. 28 countries has ratified.
And Gambia was the 22nd, which is the trigger, as it were.
Yes. We needed that 22.
That was the trigger, as it were.
So we as Gambia, we gave the trigger to the agreement.
Indeed.
So if you attend meetings on CFTA and you say you are from Gambia, you see the excitement that, because of the Gambia, the agreement came into force. So we are key in it, which means that, we have to ensure that we benefit from the agreement. So all these challenges are things that we believe that we can overcome as a continent, because we now say African problems, we need to bring African solutions to it. So we are optimistic that even though some trade agreements have been made, it didn't work, we are optimistic that this will work, because it's a bigger market, bigger revenue, and bigger opportunities, and we'll ensure that we create the right platform so that we ensure we utilize these opportunities.
Brilliant. 3 trillion GDP, that's a massive amount of money. It can make a lot of difference in terms of poverty alleviation.
And it will grow. It will grow. It will
Yes.
grow. And as we continue, Africa can be the biggest market that the world has ever seen, can be the biggest economy, even bigger than US and China. We have the potential. We have the resources. We have the human resources. We have the minerals. So we have everything it takes to be big. All superpowers, if you put them, they will fit inside Africa.
Indeed.
We have all natural resources that the world needs. So we have what it takes to be #1 in the world. And this is where we
have a youthful population.
We have
as
the
well.
youthful population. And I believe that we will reach there. If we really work together as a continent and believe in this vision, we will achieve it. And this is where we will say that Africa as one, United States of Africa.
Brilliant. I like that. Mr. Saho, Babukar, I'll come back to you. When we talk about trade between Senegambia, we also know that at some unfortunate periods in our history, there has been some restrictive practices of border closures and other forms of restrictions placed on Gambian businesses exporting to Senegal. What has been the position of the GCCI, and what efforts have they been making in relation to this problem that we've had before? I'm not expecting that to happen anymore, but just to look back a little bit and look at the causes of that and the consequences that it would have had on Gambian businesses.
As you would understand, Senegal and the Gambia geographically are inextricably linked. And as a result, sometimes in the past, there were some political differences, if I may put it, because we were here in this country way back in the day when there was a border closure, and the position of the Senegalese government was that, well, talk to the transport union. We have nothing to do with it. I think we are of the belief that such days are behind us, and that when certain matters in terms of border discrepancies come up, the two policymakers, probably even at presidential level. By the way, the Senegal-Gambia presidential meeting is very near, and we will bring these issues to the fore and address it, and not just leave it to say that, well, talk to the transport union, they will deal with it. I think we're looking forward to surpassing that time. And as far as the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry is concerned, Senegal is critical to the point that it's critical to the implementation of the ECOWAS protocol, that is the Interstate Road Transit Scheme, the ISRT. Today in the Gambia, 40%, not less than 40% of 20-foot equivalent units of containers that land at the port of Banjul are destined for transit. These are mainly to Mali, to Senegal, to Guinea, and sometimes all the way to Niger. These are landlocked countries, or countries who see, or countries for which clearing their goods at the port of Banjul makes more economic sense. We even have some Senegalese businesses clearing their goods at the port of Banjul because the clearing time is shorter and it seems to be more efficient, even though we have challenges there. So all these things are happening. And that we've observed that sometimes there are some very unnecessary challenges in terms of implementing the ISRT, because if a truck leaves the port of Banjul and its destination is Mali, it has to go through Senegal.
Indeed.
So if it reaches the Senegalese border point, for example, and there are some bureaucratic issues that are raised, then that comes back to the challenges in implementing the ISRT, which is critical to sub-regional integration. You see, going back to the continental level, when upon gaining independence, Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana said something, and I would like to quote him. He said, "The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent." And that still continues to be a reality of our time over, 5 decades or so ago when he utters those statements.
I think some would say he must be dancing in his grave, as it were, now that we are talking about African continental free trade. One of the things that he's always advocated, and that was the basis really for making that statement, I suppose, because then it was only Ghana that was independent in 1957. But I think we're running out of time. But I would want to take concluding statements, very brief, about whether one is optimistic about the future of trade in Africa and at the sub-regional level, but also between Senegal and Gambia. What are your expectations at that level? Are we looking at a new trend? These emerging protocols and and treaties, are they the beginning of the African Renaissance, as it were?
I think let's move to implementation. The youth of both countries, the women of both countries, the taxi drivers, the farmers, the tailors, and the people living in both Senegal and Gambia, the economic operators want to see borders removed. Removing borders does not in any way compromise security. In fact, I believe working together, it consolidates security. So I think we need to move to the next stage and use Senegal and Gambia as a model for sub-regional integration, as a functional model for continental economic integration. This we are yet to do. A lot of documents have been ratified, a lot of papers have been signed, but we are not feeling it on the ground. The businesses are not feeling it on the ground. And the moment and the realization of the fact that the businesses are not feeling the implementation of the policies of trade integration to what is expected, then we have a very big situation. We have a problem at hand. So I think this forum and many other forums like it will call for the actual implementation of trade facilitation so that we can see our economies grow, jobs are created, and everybody is happy. But allow me to also say, in fact, the forum is on the 5th. On the 6th, the GCCI is holding its GCCI Annual Business Awards. And this year, our Senegalese partners will equally be there to join us to acknowledge the business excellence, and the celebration of Gambian business once again on the platform of the GCCI. And in fact, this year we have the Young Entrepreneur Award. We have the Lifetime Achievement Award. There is also the Businesswoman of the Year Award. There is also the Most Uniquely Gambian Award, and there's also that of the Business Excellence Award. The Business Excellence Award actually is a new category. What we're trying to highlight with the Business Excellence Award is to promote the issue of standards, is to promote the issues of quality, so that our businesses get to know that the market is growing. And then you are competing with other businesses from other countries. So let's build on your competitiveness. So we're also extending an invitation to each and every corporate business and individual in the Gambia.
And of course, on the 6th, there will be a B2B as well, a business-to-business forum on the 6th. which will then be followed by the dinner and the awards at night. So
Exactly.
I think it's a good opportunity for businesses, both local but also Senegambian businesses, to sit face to face and discuss on these issues.
Exactly.
I think that would be a brilliant idea.
Sure.
All right. David,
Yeah.
before I come to, I'll give the last word to Ajaratu Adulet. See, you are a young entrepreneur, and the trends are changing in this. Does that make you very optimistic for the future? I think you've touched on that, but
Well,
I want to know specifically, as regards, let's take Senegambia for instance. What do you want to see come out of this interaction with the Senegalese counterparts who are here, but also the policymakers that would be present on the day?
Well, very important questions. Maybe Babukar should also add another award, maybe a Senegambian Entrepreneur Award.
Yes,
to encourage entrepreneurs to do business between the two countries. But really, what I would like to see out of this is a Senegambian implementation plan and strategy. The purpose of the summit really is to bring the two countries economically together. So we should be able to come out with an implementation plan and strategy of how we will harness Senegambia's economic power. And for this to happen, we really need the youth to come on board. We need the women to come on board. We need the entire business community to come on Thursday at the Kerba Beach Hotel and on Friday at Coco Ocean. So these two events are two important milestones in the business community, and we all have to attend to ensure that the decisions that are made are going to affect us in the next 20, 30 years in time. So we have to be there to ensure that we discuss with policymakers, we discuss with leaders to ensure that the right decisions are made, because these decisions will affect us, and together we can utilize this.
Brilliant.
potentials.
I'll give the last word to Ajaratu Aduletsi. Are you optimistic about the
Yes.
outcome of this forum?
Yes,
and what do you expect to see?
I am optimistic, definitely, as it has been centuries, decades when we started talking about this, and now we are coming to the implementation process, the last stage whereby definitely everybody should come on board. My last word is just to invite all the youths and women to come on board and participate in this economic forum. If you don't participate and come and raise your voice and give us your views, then you will not have a take or a stake in whatever you want you want the implementation process to reach. We need everybody to all the corporate companies, individuals, to buy tables at the GCI dinner to be part of this process. And because the GCI dinner is just not it's just not just for fun. It's the fun is there because we want to make people enjoy the night, but the integration, the interaction. And this year, where our Senegalese chamber is coming, some of our Senegalese invitees and partners are coming, so we will have an opportunity to meet with our the other Senegalese entrepreneurs and some of the stakeholders, the decision makers, the policy makers between the two countries. So it is important to people to come out in their numbers and attend the forum, as well as attend the business, the B2B, the matchmaking forum, as well as the dinner. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ajaratu Aduletsi. Thank you very much, Mr. Babukar Saho, and thank you very much again, Mr. David Jeng. That would be all. The event, like we said, takes place on the 5th and 6th of December 2019, and we believe that it is timely and that we hope that it will come out with great resolutions that would increase not only the volume of trade between Senegal and Gambia, but at the continental level, that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is the harbinger of a new Africa, an Africa rising, as it were, the new renaissance in Africa. Thank you very much.